Creative continuity. We bring the convention to you.
Creative continuity. We're here with mystery man, Dirk Manning.
Dirk asked me to speak on his behalf, so it's early. It's early Sunday morning. Voices are shot, things like that. It's been a great show, so I'll cover this one.
Tales of Mystery. How's that been doing?
Yeah, man. Tales of Mystery doing really well. We just wrapped up a very successful Kickstarter for Tales of Mystery Volume 2. Humbling. Just very, very humbling. Seth the Moose is here with me. He's the illustrator on that one. It was humbling. It was just really cool. People really came out in droves, supported the book, and really showed that, they want this kind of book. They want a good horror book that's just easily accessible. You can pick it up, read it, enjoy it with strong characterization, strong writing. I'll say it's strong plot in a dark horror book, not a superhero book that's posing as a horror book, a straight-up horror book. I have a story that came out in this book that just came out very recently, Peppermint Monster Press. Then it was Dark. This is an anthology of all real-life ghost stories. Sarah, who's the editor on the book, asked about 20 different comic creators, have you ever had a paranormal experience? And if so, would you be willing to write it as a comic script, have someone illustrate it?
Wow.
And I did. And I have a story that, like my closest friends, I've maybe told a couple of them. It's called I Ain't Superstitious.
Okay.
And I'm not. And it's about a ghost experience I had in New Orleans. I don't want to give away the whole story, but
right.
The story is about cognitive dissonance. I know what happened. I know there is no other reasonable, logical, scientific. I know what happened. But for me to accept what happened, I would have to believe something I don't believe. And that's straight talk. And that's where my head is. I know what happened. But what happened, I don't believe in ghosts. But I know what happened. And for me to tell myself it was anything less than that would be disingenuous. And I'm not going to lie to myself about it. But, so I have these very conflicting...
Right, yeah, that puts you in a bad, not a bad place, but a strange place.
And I live in that place. And even writing the story, and Sayers, who did the amazing art on it and just really communicated well what the experience was like. It's there on paper, people can read it and determine for themselves, but I ain't superstitious, like the story's called.
Yeah, there we go.
But I know what happened. And it's funny, someone that knows me came by earlier and picked up the book and was looking through it, and they said, Dirk, this is like in first person. It's like you're telling the story. I'm like, it's true. This is what happened. So that's just an absolutely fantastic anthology. I joke that's the only book on my table. I didn't write pretty much everything in, but I keep that on the table because it's just a great book, great creators. So got another short story coming out in a book called Unlawful Good. Heather Antos, who's now in the editorial department over at Marvel Comics. Before she got that gig, she actually put out a crime-based anthology. Seth the Moose and I have a short story in there colored by Howie Knoll. And other than that, Tales of Mystery Volume 3 is being worked on right now. I know people have been asking about a sequel to a certain book, so we'll be working on that. I don't want to name any names. I know people have also been really wondering about one last installment of some other book, so there'll be details maybe on that coming soon. But I really don't want to. I don't like to hype things, so I really don't want to. Even though I am the most featured guest on this show,
right.
I wouldn't be comfortable giving specific hints to what those upcoming projects are, but they're coming.
At this stage of your career, is there any other artists you look forward to working with? I interviewed artists before, and they had one in particular say he has a certain list that he wants to map out, like a bucket list of people he want to work with. Do you have a particular bucket list of people that you are dying to work with?
Seth the Moose and I have been working together really well. I hope to continue to work. We're going to work together for a while. I got a bucket list of artists I'd like to do covers for the upcoming Tales of Mystery volumes. And I don't want to say the bucket list because if they hear this, they'll charge me a lot more money.
Right.
No.
That's smart.
But yeah,
that's smart.
I had Riley Rossmo did actually 2 different covers to the first Tales of Mystery collection. One of my all-time favorite working artists. Eric Powell, one of my all-time favorite creators and artists, did the cover to the first issue of Volume 2, which is going to be the trade paperback cover for that. I got some other people I'm talking to that some of my favorite artists to actually get to do the covers would be pretty amazing. So yes I do. And hopefully I'll get to work with them all. We'll see what happens. Harold Gant, Creative Continuity, signing out with Dirk Manning. Thank you for the interview, Dirk. He says you're welcome. What a guy. Harold Gant here with Creative Continuity,
S3E14. Devil's Due. Josh Blaylock.
Devil's Due Entertainment. We're a comic book publishing company with a variety of different titles. So we really got a good, diverse line right now, and mostly creator-owned titles. Squarriors, Solitary, Plume, Tales of Mr. Rhee, Scorch, Operation Nemesis, Mercy Sparks, a bunch of different stuff. And we don't really have a house style. Like there's not one book that's like the other right now. Squarriors is just the beautifully painted, crazy story about warring tribes of animals in a post-human world.
Right, the artwork is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Solitary is our one superhero title we do, but it's a prison drama. It's about a guy doing an immortal man on death row. And it has a whole like big hero backstory to it. Plume is like a Western adventure, but it has a whole magical twist to it. Tales of Mr. Rhee, which you guys have already talked about a lot, probably, with Dirk.
Right.
It's an awesome horror story, both psychological and some of the gory moments, but he's like a master of psychological horror. Rhee is this paranormal troubleshooter in a post-Rapture, post-Armageddon world, and there's a lot of Cthulhu, Lovecraftian tie-ins to that as well. We have Scorch, that is Ashley Witter, who's the artist of Squarriors. That's her original webcomic series that she did. Sort of, I'd say, like suburban goth.
Wow.
Slice of life / like horror comedy.
All right.
It's very in the vein of like say like Jonan Vasquez, Roman Durge kind of like stuff, and we're collecting all that into print. And Operation Nemesis, I wrote that one. So I do write.
Right.
And I draw some every now and then, but when I'm not running things. Operation Nemesis is based on a true story of Soghomon Tehlirian, who assassinated the former leader of Turkey in the middle of Berlin because he was the main architect of the Armenian genocide, so killed 1.5 million people during World War I. We got articles in there from the New York Times from back then.
Wow.
About the court trial that happened, because the guy went to court, he shoots this guy, former leader of a country, in broad daylight, and goes to jail. They take him to court, huge trial, sensationalized all over the world, and he walks away a free man, and he never denied that he killed him.
Wow.
Because that's how the story got told. I also wrote How to Self-Publish Comics, Not Just Create Them, which is just the one quintessential guide, kind of like a step-by-step, like anybody asks me anything about publishing comics over the last 15 years, it's in there. We go through like the marketing. It goes into like figuring out what your hook would be for your story and everything, forming your creative team, questions to ask each other, for contracts and stuff before you really, kind of like, hopefully, if what it helps people is they don't know what they don't know, and when they read that, they're like, oh, these are questions I should be asking all across the board on distribution and finding the right team to put the book together and how to market it and all that stuff. So. It's been around since 2006. I update it every few years. I just updated it again.
Wow. And
also added Tim Seeley's bonus section, which we updated as well. But he wrote how to be a comic book artist, not just how to draw, as a companion to it. And Tim's really well known now as like this Batman writer and doing all this, these huge titles. But he was a phenomenal artist, and he drew for us for many years. Mercy Sparks, that's my pet project. She ongoing series about a devil girl that actually works for heaven. And she hunts down rogue angels. Right. So she's sort of like, she looks human when she's, on Earth, but her true form is this devil chick. And there's a lot of fun, a lot of comedy in that, a lot of action. And then it gets into the bigger, like, heaven-hell backstory and who's pulling the strings as to why they would use some unorthodox method like this. You can check all this stuff out at devilsdue.net. We're on Facebook as Devil's Due ENT for entertainment. Operation Nemesis has its own Facebook page too. Squarriors has its own Facebook page. Plume has its own Facebook page. So you can find all that stuff on our site.
Josh Blaylock and Harold Kent signing off. Signing off. Did you know that you are the most featured artist, interviewer in the history, interviewee, I'm sorry, in the history of creative continuity history?
That's metal. Right on.
That's metal.
Thank you. For these 6 viewers I brought to the show, I'm glad.
One left last night, sorry.
Oh, 5. 5 viewers. The 5 viewers that are left, thank you. The 5 extra people I bring to the show. No, yeah, man, it's an honor. Thank you. You guys do great stuff. I'm happy to be.
Well, anything else you have coming through this year?
Yeah, I got some. We'll see. Ooh, you almost got me. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. My guard's down. I got to be careful what I can announce.
Ain't afraid of no ghost.
I know what happened. that one. That got me right here.
Got you right here. Touched your heart?
Well, they touched the place my heart should be.
Oh, okay.
If I had a heart, it would have touched it.
Dirk, what happened to the heart?
You read my work. You know, don't worry.
Speaking of your work.
We don't talk about that no more.
Woo! Yeah! All right. Creative continuity.
Pardon. I'm How was my accent?